and welcome from Market to Table. Today, Lillian and I will be doing some holiday items for you. Lillian will be doing the desserts and I'll be doing some appetizers. So, Lillian's gonna start with a fruit cocktail cake.
Okay, now you know at holidays everyone serves fruit cake. I don't like fruit cake. I think it's the candied fruit. So in place of fruit cake, I have made a fruit cocktail cake, which will take the place of it. You have your cake and you have your fruit, and we could just pretend. All right, what you need is 2 cups of flour, and I just use the essential flour. It is just as, I feel just as good.
There's no
And
difference.
since we are having difficulty in getting the Robin Hood and some of those, and this is so easy to do. You have the 2 cups of flour, and you have your 1 can of fruit cocktail, just a small can. You don't have to drain it or anything, you just dump it in.
It's almost like a dump cake, kind of.
Almost, yes, exactly. Then we have 1 cup of sugar. Oh, that'll suffice. Okay, 1 cup of sugar, 1 teaspoon of vanilla. And this is why it's so easy. You just dump everything in all at once. You don't have to worry about it. 1 baking soda. And 1 baking powder. And you don't have to feel guilty about this because it's healthy, because it has fruit.
Well, it's better than fruit cake, because who knows what's in that it can stay good for months.
That's it, it never molds. It's amazing. Although, you know, I have a recipe that I will, oh, and 1 egg. I will share at Easter. You have to make them on Good Friday though, and it's a hot cross bun.
Oh, my grandmother used to make those.
But legend has it that if you make this on Good Friday, it won't mold, and it protects your house from fire if you hang it in the rafters.
Huh.
And I do that, and it works, and it does not mold. Okay? We just mix it all up until all of the flour is absorbed into the juice, or into the batter, I should say. And this is why you don't need anything else except the fruit cocktail, because it gives it enough juice. In the meantime, while you're doing all of this, you should be preheating your oven to 350. See, no mess, just 1 bowl, very easy. And then you just take your 9x9 pan, scrape all of this in.
Now, would you grease the pan before?
No, you don't have to grease the pan. You just have to put all of this into the pan. I don't know why it doesn't stick without greasing, but it does not. Then, just to add more calories and some goodness to it, you naturally have a topping to go on it. You spread it out evenly in your pan. And it gets bigger as it bakes. It's really neat.
Now, to do a 9x13, would you double it, or?
I would, yes. Yeah. Although you really don't need
A lot.
those big pieces. Now your topping is brown sugar, 1/2 cup brown sugar, and 1/2 cup chopped nuts, whatever kind of nuts you want. The one
Simple.
that I have made already just for you to see, I used almonds. This one is just walnuts. And again, you just take your spoon and spread it out evenly over the top. And it looks very pretty.
Easy cake, no icing.
No icing, nothing, just your pretty cake. And you bake it for a ½ hour at 350. And when it's done, there is your finished product.
That looks much better than the traditional
Oh,
fruitcake.
Yes, it does, and it tastes much better, in my opinion. So, okay, now over to Nicole for
I'm gonna
her
start.
appetizers.
Start today with a hot spinach dip. This is a super easy recipe. All you need to do is start off with 2 cups of Monterey Jack cheese, so it's an entire 8-ounce package. And then you'll add 1 cup of thawed spinach that's drained. You can just use the one out of the freezer, and the easiest way to drain it was through cheesecloth. So you want it to be pretty dry. Then you'll need a package of cream cheese softened, so it's easy to mix together. You'll add 2 tomatoes that are seeded and just chopped. You don't want a lot of the liquid because it will make the dip more liquid. A 1/4 cup of onions. 1 tablespoon of jalapenos sliced and seeded. You don't want the seeds, it will add too much heat.
I was going to say, yeah. I
So-
was amazed to find that that is really where the heat comes from.
Oh, the seeds, yes. And the oil, when you cut, I always wear gloves because if not, if you have a cut on your hand or if you have
Oh,
contacts, it's not very
Yes,
fun
you know
afterwards.
where they are. Exactly.
Then you need 1/3 cup of half and half.
Oh, shoot.
And all you'll do is mix this together. Sometimes if you cut the cream cheese, it's easier to mix if you put little chunks of it into the dip instead of the whole block. You just want to make sure it's all well incorporated together.
Oh, that looks so nice. It's
And
very
it's so
colorful. Also.
Easy, and it has green, it has red, perfect for the holidays. During the holidays when we have get-togethers, instead of doing like a traditional lunch, a lot of times we'll just do a bunch of appetizers.
Well,
out.
certainly. It's much more fun just to graze at the holidays.
Yes,
to
and we
sit
do that
down
all
and
day.
eat. Yes. Oh, and then with the chips.
So once you got it pretty well mixed together, you need to put it into a greased pan.
So far, our holiday cooking is easy.
It is. That's the best
That's
part. There's
great.
too many other things to do.
Oh, that is so colorful.
And then you'll want to put this in a 375-degree oven for 20 to 25 minutes. And it will come out looking like this. And it's great to serve with tortilla chips. I like to mix the blue and the white corn together. It just looks prettier on the table.
Exactly.
Or you can serve it with toasted pita chips if you prefer that. But we're usually a gluten-free house, so tortilla chips it is.
Very good.
All right, Lillian.
That is wonderful.
Back to you for some cookies.
Okay, now, for this one, I'm going to just talk you through the recipe. It is meringues. And what happens, and the reason I'm not doing meringues on the show is because you have to do them in a slow oven for so long that we don't have time. But what you do with the meringues is you take 2 egg whites, 1/8 teaspoon salt, 1/8 teaspoon cream of tartar, and 1 teaspoon of vanilla, and you mix those together until they form soft peaks. Then, after they form the soft peaks, you gradually add in 1/2 to 3/4 cup of sugar, and you beat those until they form very stiff peaks. Now, you line a cookie sheet with brown paper. Do not use parchment paper, because the parchment paper will not work. It needs to be a brown paper liner on your cookie sheet. Now, I use either just your craft paper from, that you would wrap a package in, or the brown paper bags that you get at a supermarket. And you put those in a very cool oven, like 300 degrees, and you go ahead and bake those then for like 25 minutes. You can also add chocolate chips if you want, just for a surprise in your meringue. But when you take them out of the oven, they look like this. And they just melt in your mouth, just like cotton candy.
They're my husband's favorite cookie.
Yes. So I have a whole package just for Dave.
Well, he'll be thrilled.
Okay, because it's also a gluten-free cookie.
Well, and he wanted the recipe, so I'm supposed to try to learn how to make it.
But
I might leave it to you.
No, I'll be more than willing to do that. Because, yes, you just put them in the cool oven, just sit down and relax them until the little bell goes off, and then you pull them out and they look like this.
Well, I'll be trying. Maybe I'll try them this holiday.
Okay.
And see how it goes.
And it's easy. Nicole, you can do it. All right, back to Nicole.
All right, I'm going to do a really simple, but really pretty appetizer. It's Pear and Phyllo dough cups. So you start with the shells, and they come just like this in a package. I already put them on a pan. And you get a package of Brie. Brie is a great cheese, especially warm or cooked.
It is.
Super savory. And so all you want to do is cut off the end. Cut it into small chunks. I like the wedge better. When I did those, I used the circle, and for some reason it was a lot softer. So I don't know what the difference was, but the wedge, if you're making it, is easier to work with, and especially keep it cool while you're working with it. It's not as gooey.
I wonder.
I don't know why the circle one was like that.
Yes.
But maybe
Why
it just
would be cooler or softer. Probably.
I always buy the wedge, so I don't.
Yes.
And you'll want to leave your phyllo shells frozen until you're ready to use them. So all you're going to do is drop a chunk of the Brie into each phyllo cup.
So then you just take the little shells out to thaw.
No, they'll just thaw while they bake.
Oh, okay. So they
Yeah, you can
use
just
them while they are frozen.
Frozen, yep. If they're smaller chunks, you can add 2 pieces.
That looks neat.
It's just simple, but it's something different. Okay, so then what you're gonna do is you're gonna put those into a 350-degree oven, and they'll be in there for about 15 minutes or so. Just you want the cheese to be melted and the phyllo cups to be golden brown. Now for the topping, we have pears, and all you'll need to do is cut a pear in half and take the core out, and then you're gonna just sprinkle it with some cinnamon and then some brown sugar. And then you'll put these on a separate cookie sheet, and they'll also go in the oven at 350 degrees, but these will take about 20 to 30 minutes. So, and you might want to do the pears ahead of time so that they can cool.
Right.
So then you're
Yes.
able to cut them. So, this is what the phyllo dough looks like when it comes out. And here are our pears that are cooked already. And all I'm gonna do is cut them into small chunks.
Now see,
And you
here-
want it to be not mushy. Like, so you need to
Right.
make sure that you're watching it. You don't want it to like completely fall apart. You want some texture there.
See, you're lucky that David let you use the big knife. I was using a little knife the other day when I was doing something here in the store, and he said, "We're not allowed to let you have sharp objects." I said, "Well, sorry about that."
So then you just want to place a pear on each one.
Oh, that looks so nice. You know what? Could you use the cherries?
I bet so. It just would have to be pretty drained.
Right.
Because you wouldn't want all the liquid.
That's right. But I was thinking that would be so very colorful.
It would add a... And you can also do nuts on top of these. You can add a pecan and cook that with it on top also.
True.
And then all you want to do is get honey and just drizzle it right over.
Oh, they look good.
And that's it. So that's pretty simple, but pretty good. So, Lily, I'm going to give it
good.
back to you so you can finish this off.
Okay, now I learned the hard way. I'm making Snickerdoodles, and do not, in any case, way, shape, or form, substitute butter-flavored Crisco for butter. Because if you use butter, it changes the entire taste of the Snickerdoodle. Because I let a few people sample them and they agreed with me. They taste different. So you start off with 1 cup of the butter flavored Crisco, and you put it in a bowl, and I hope that this bowl will be big enough to go ahead and take everything that I need to mix. I did not think about that before I started. I could have used the different bowls, but that's not good. Make sure you get all the paper off the butter flavored Crisco. All right, in with the butter flavored Crisco then, you use 1 cup of sugar, which I already put away here. Well, actually, it's 1.5 cups of sugar. So we're going to estimate on the... That's okay, I need that too, but later. We just don't have enough counter space when we do these. At home, I have everything spread out everywhere, and it's so much easier. Okay, we need 1 and a half.
Good enough.
Half. 1 and a half and 2 eggs, which are back here in my little container so I do not break them, in transit. You know, I've never learned how. Did you ever watch them just tap the egg and break it with one hand?
I have.
I can't do
I can't.
that.
I've tried. I've ended up with
know.
shells in.
Yes, and I wind up with a mess. I can't do that. And 1 teaspoon of vanilla.
Lillian's the cookie lady at County Market. Every holiday, she brings all of us wonderful cookies. So that is like our favorite time of year. We're excited to get our tray upstairs.
This year I'm really going to cheat, and I'm going to hopefully make a bowl that you can eat also. There
bowl?
is a recipe that you take chocolate wafers, like cookie wafers,
Okay.
and you form them over the bowl, bake it, and then you put your cookies that you plan on giving in that bowl.
Super
so you
creative.
can eat the bowl also. So that's what I'm hoping to do. Now, you cream your butter-flavored Crisco, and it flies everywhere. And once this is creamed, then you add your dry ingredients. To your cream mixture now, you add 2 tablespoons of milk. Where's my little? There's my milk. See, it's easier when you do this at home because everything's right there.
Yes.
Here it's hard. And 2½ cups of flour. I knew I need the flour. That's my half.
There's your half.
Hey, might as well be.
We haven't had a cookie day in our family for so long because there's 9 grandkids, and for the longest time there was 8 grandkids under the age of like 8. So this was Sunday, the first time in years we all cooked sugar cookies, and the kids had a blast.
Yes, you were telling me about
Yeah,
the
it was-
gluten-free ones. What flour did you use with the gluten-free?
The gluten-free, we used the Pillsbury all-purpose flour. It was different because the gluten-free turned out whiter and a nicer shaped cookie, and they didn't crack where the regular flour ones cracked, and they were
Really?
like a darker color. But they were delicious. The kids had icing everywhere and sprinkles
well,
everywhere, but they had a good
sure.
time.
And you know what? It is so great that they have the gluten-free things now.
It is. That's the best flour I've ever found. So
And we have into this 2 teaspoons of cream of tartar. That was probably a little bit more, but that's all right. They'll just puff up better. 1 teaspoon baking soda. And just a dash of salt, which, there it is. Told you I'm blind in one eye and can't see out of the other. this is the.
Those
That's
fly.
okay. I don't do the floor here.
Exactly. Neither do I. So it's a good thing.
And when it is all mixed, this is the messy part of it then. You have to go ahead and shape these into little balls. And they say to roll it in a bowl that has 1/2 cup sugar and 2 tablespoons of cinnamon. Well, instead of using a bowl, I find it easier to put your sugar and cinnamon in a Ziploc bag.
Oh, and then just shake them up.
Yes.
That's a great idea.
Then you just take it, and this is, like I said, is the messy part. You shape them into balls and just put them in the bag and shake them. And then when you're all done, using the Crisco or using the butter, they came out flatter. But this is the end product. You bake them in a 350 oven, or I'm sorry, a 400 degree oven for like 7 to 8 minutes. And this is what you wind up with.
That's great. My mom used to make
Okay.
those every holiday.
Oh, yes. They
That
are,
and peanut butter blossoms.
yes, they are Jessica's favorite.
Well, then she'll be happy for after
Yes,
the show.
that and macaroons.
Well,
So whenever I want anything done here, I make them for Jessica and then say, can I please have this day off?
well, thank you for joining us today, and happy holidays from all of us at County Market.
Thank you.